Hello, everyone. It's Jerry at the Fledge, and welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. I'm sitting here in the sanctuary. I've got my Greenwood District Studios shirt on, so shout out to Amaru and his team, and man, his TikTok channel, he's blown up. So check out Amaru on TikTok, check out Greenwood District Studios, and be proud that our city has a Black-owned filmmaking studio, music, comedy club, all the great things that they're going to be doing. Also want to give a shout out to thisent.com and the champ, Joe Walker, for going through some of the episodes and summarizing and re-promoting and all of that. We appreciate you throwing all that good news out there all the time. So thank you, Joe. And you guys are about to get, I don't even know what to say. There's going to be a lot of positive talking right now. And my guest, Nikki, how you doing today, Nikki?
Hey! I am doing well. Excited to be here with you, Jerry.
So what you been doing today?
Listen, what I've been doing today is strategizing, because as an entrepreneur, one thing you have to do is have your strategy. So one of the things I've been thinking about is how can I continue to grow my brand? So I've been working on finding some ways to connect with corporations to offer some cooking classes for them. So it's not just for kids. You know, the corporations can do, because I have a background in corporate training and development. I thought, duh. Let's put some cooking and corporate training and development, make it happen. So that's what I'm doing, some strategy today.
Well, let's save some of that for a little bit. But you saw me give some shout outs in the beginning. Who would you like to give some shout outs to?
Well, first and foremost, I got to give a shout out to my husband, because he is my biggest cheerleader. I'll say that. Well, I don't know, because he's competing with my kids. I'm going to give a shout out to my kids, Malia and Madison, and they are also my biggest cheerleaders. So I think they're in competition with each other. And one other shout out is to Michelle Massey, who started the Lansing Buolt to Last, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But a shout out to her. She's an amazing, badass woman, and I'm happy to have her on my team.
Yeah, I can't wait to get talking about the Built to Last for sure. But I want to talk about you first. Where were you born and raised? Where'd you go to school? What brought you to create Sweet Encounter?
Okay, so I was born and raised in Muncie, Indiana, Muncie. And I know, Muncie, Indiana. And it's straight down 69, interestingly. So it's literally about 3.5 hours, about three and a half hours from Lansing. Go straight down 69, you'll hit Muncie, where I'm from. So born and raised in Muncie, Indiana. I lived in the same house my entire life, other than I'll say my father's house. My parents divorced. He bought a house on the other side of town. So I had two houses, but really I grew up in the same house on the same street. I knew all of my neighbors. My neighbors knew me. That was the kind of community I lived in. I lived around all of my aunts and uncles and grandmothers and grandfathers, the whole works. So it's a different experience living in Lansing, where I don't have family here. And I went to school, Muncie Central, whoop, whoop, Bearcats. Nobody probably knows what that is. But anyway, and then I went to Indiana University for undergrad. And I went back to Muncie to Ball State University for graduate school. I have both my degrees in communications. And my life has taken a very circuitous route. Finally ended up in Michigan because my husband took a job at Michigan State. And you want me to tell you about my business, right? How that came about? Is that the next question or no? I'm sorry.
Well, no, let's wait a little bit there.
Oh, okay. Let me tell you a little bit more about me growing up. So when I grew up, my mama said, because your mama always knows you, when you're little. Because I look at my kids now and I think, okay, I can see some traits in them. But my mom always said that I love being in the kitchen, playing with the pots and pans more than I loved anything else, playing with my toys. So I play with the pots and pans. Those are my toys. So as you learn more about me as we go through this conversation, you'll see exactly why that's a significant childhood memory of me playing in the kitchen with the pots and pans and not playing with my toys. So that's a little bit about who I am.
Were you playing like you were acting like you were cooking, or playing like building everything, or was it?
I think maybe engaged? A little bit of.
Yeah.
I think it was a little bit of both. Because, as a kid, you just want to kind of bang around and, make a lot of noise and, probably irritate your parents. But not really. You weren't trying to do that. You're just trying to have fun as a kid. Because I love building and creating things. But I also think I was also role playing because my mom was a good cook and I have fond memories of her in the kitchen. And so some of them I just wanted to be close to her, maybe even too, because I was at her feet, with those pots and pans while she's running around trying to make dinner for us.
Yeah. Do you think that that kind of, was that like a rite of passage for you? Not quite a rite of passage. It's not the right word or phrase. What was that kitchen experience? Was that?
I feel like the kitchen is really the heartbeat of the home. I really believe that. I feel like so many people spend a lot of money on their kitchens and they do it for a reason because it really is the heartbeat of the home. I mean, we didn't have some fancy kitchen, but that's where we had our meals together as a family. That's where I learned how to cook. That's where, you also had to wash those dishes after you ate dinner. That's where if there were family conversations, those happened around the dinner table. When we had special occasions, birthday parties or Thanksgiving dinner was around the table. So I really feel like for most people, there's a lot of significance to the kitchen, especially to that kitchen table. Because I even know with my family now, when we sit down and talk about things, when we every year our family do vision boards, we do it at the kitchen table. You know what I'm saying? So I really feel like there's a lot of significance to the kitchen in many families.
We used to play cards like rummy and all that all the time at the kitchen table.
Yes, I forgot about that. We play games at the kitchen table. We do that now in my house. But growing up, yes. And for a little bit of time there, so this is really kind of telling a little bit. But my mom, before she had her own beauty shop, my mom was an entrepreneur. She did hair out the kitchen. So now listen, I know all my Black friends that are listening right now know what I'm talking about, because back in the day, a lot of mamas and Black women got their start doing hair in the kitchen. So there's some significance there too with, Black women in hair and doing it in the kitchen. It started in the kitchen.
You said your mom was an entrepreneur, but
yes.
You also have another word for that, right?
A mompreneur, yes.
A mompreneur.
A mompreneur. And because I feel like even with my mom and even with me, like I'm a mom first, so I consider myself a mompreneur. And I'm happy to be a mom first, but guess what? I pull my kids along. Sometimes it's there's no difference between the mom and the preneur because they come with me to different things. They help me with my business. Like I said, they're my biggest cheerleaders. I can tell a quick story. The other day, we were at the Afterglow market and I had a class I was teaching. So my husband was working the market for me and my youngest daughter was there, Madison. And my husband told the person, "Oh, I forgot the business cards. I don't have any." And she said, No, Daddy, I have some business cards in my wallet. So girlfriend, listen, train your kids up, okay, in the way they should go, because she is off to the races. Both of them are off to the races, Malia and Madison. But yeah, they help hold it down. So they know they are a part of the business. And that's the beauty of being a mompreneur, is because you really pull your kids into the business and you teach them along the way. So even while my mom didn't always teach me actively like I'm teaching my kids, I watched. Yeah. And I think people need to realize that kids learn from watching. And sometimes we want to tell kids to do one thing, but they see us do something else. So they really are watching the things that we do.
Yeah, Stephen Covey says you can't talk your way out of situations you behave yourself into. And then I always use the example of you can't have cake on your face and then say, I didn't eat the cake.
Exactly. Exactly. You can't tell your kids to go right when you're going left.
I wonder, as you watched your mother, you didn't get into hair, right? Or I don't know, maybe you did.
You know what? The funny thing is that when I was in college, okay, so all my college women out there that remember me, I used to do some of my friends' hair. And I had a friend that was biracial, and she had this long, thick, beautiful locks. And it took me a long time. We ain't gonna talk about that. That's back in the college days when you just having fun on a Saturday. But we were up all night straightening her hair. So I've done a few of my girlfriend's hair in college, but it wasn't something that I loved, but I kind of knew how to do, again, because you watch your mom. And in college, you don't have a whole lot of money. And so we all worked together to make stuff happen. So I did a few heads in college for free.
So, I was thinking, as you were saying all that, I was thinking, what she taught you or what she really showed you is believable opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
When, you know, I think about the kids in our neighborhood in the East Side here that don't always see somebody being an entrepreneur, or they see these jobs that they might not even know what their mom does because they might be too busy to even talk to them about that much.
Mm-hmm.
And your mother showing you, look, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. You can be an entrepreneur, and you showing your girls, you have 2 girls, right?
Yep, 2 girls.
Right.
That's right.
That you're going to be an entrepreneur so they can be an entrepreneur. I think that is that's more important, I think, at some level than actually learning the skill to cook, to do the hair, to, you know, be whatever it is. So
exactly, that the world is your oyster and you can really do whatever you want. And my mom's beauty salon, she called it Perfect Touch because she believed she had the perfect touch, you know, to whip them hair. And back in the day, we weren't called stylists, you know, like I go to my stylist now. That's where I go to my stylist. But, you know, back in the day, they were called beauticians, you know, which rhymes with the musician because, you know, they did magic on your hair, you know. So she was a beautician. That's what she called herself back in the day.
Yeah. So how do you want to lead into Sweet Encounter? You want to tell us a story? You want to just jump in?
Yeah, I'll tell you a story. You know, I like to tell fun stories. So let me tell you, I own Sweet Encounter Bakery and Sweet Encounter Kids. Now, Sweet Encounter Bakery, I started in 2015, and we moved here in 2015. And it was kind of this perfect storm because I found out my kids had food allergies, and we moved here for my husband's job. So I gave up my career. I was an executive director for a nonprofit and figuring out what I want to do with my life. And I knew I always wanted to own a business. That was something that was a given. It was just a matter of what that was going to look like and when it was going to happen. And so it was perfect timing, really. And so I found out my kids have food allergies, and I remember calling my girlfriend. And I thought I was going to have a pity party. You know, I was like, you know, my kids have all these food allergies. I don't know how to feed them, what I'm going to do. And she was like, pull up your big girl panties. She told me to pull up my big girl panties and get in the kitchen and figure it out. She's like, you can do this. Because I had been cooking, like I told you, since I was a little kid. So she had confidence in me. And I thought, okay. So I started practicing, coming up with recipes. And before long, I figured I was onto something. And I realized that I didn't want other kids to not have a sweet treat on their birthday, like my kids, right? So I not only did I want my kids to be able to enjoy a cupcake on their birthday, I wanted all kids to be able to enjoy a cupcake on their birthday. So that's really the meaning, or I guess the mission behind Sweet Encounter. And so a quick story I want to tell you is that one time before I actually really started the business, I was kind of, making stuff for my kids, take it to the birthday party, which a lot of moms who kids have food allergies, they understand you got to pack up all the stuff, take it to the party. And so I would take cupcakes for them. And I had taken these because one of my kids had dairy allergy, gluten, whatever. So I had all these cupcakes, dairy-free, gluten-free, whatever. And I had 2, one for each kid. And there was a kid there. And this is what really made me realize I need to do the business. My kids definitely. But this kid, it was a little boy. He had a dairy allergy. And he was so mad that he couldn't have cake. And he wanted everybody in that place to know. He kept saying when it was time to have the cake, I can't have cake because I have a dairy allergy. They're passing around the cake. I can't have. He just kept going on and on. And I felt so bad because I thought I could have brought him a cupcake. I didn't even think about it. And so from then on, whenever I go to parties, I bring an extra something just in case there's another kid like mine that can't have something. Because for him, it was a complete injustice that everybody else was about to enjoy themselves a cupcake and he wasn't about to get nothing. So he was mad.
What'd he do? Get a bottle of water or something?
That's pretty much it. They didn't even have an alternative for him. And I felt so bad for the little boy because even my kids that had food allergies, I had brought them something so at least they could enjoy it. But, it is what it is. But yeah, that right there is the essence of Sweet Encounter, is that not just for kids, we're all kids at heart. So I have some people that one lady bought a cake for me and she said she hadn't had cake for her birthday in like 5 years because she had not only a gluten allergy, but dairy and egg, which is hard to find, all those things taken out of a cake. And so I can pretty much do all of that. And so she was so happy, and she was in her 20s and said she hadn't had cake in years. So
wow.
Yeah.
So Tony Willis from Leaf.
Yes.
Everyone knows Tony. He calls you the GOAT. And I know what he means when he says that, because number one, you came in and every time you were in a pitch competition, I met you first at the hatching, I think. And you won it. Then you won the one at the end of the year. And then, I don't know, you won a lot of them.
Yeah,
right?
I won the Michigan Women's Forward.
Yeah. Did you ever compete in 5x5 or any?
I did 5x5. I didn't win. So that's the only, you know what? That is the only one. I need to go back. I need to go back and compete. That's the only one I didn't win. And also we had the Empower Her competition. I won that one too. Yeah. So all of them, that was the only one. I'm mad at that. No, I'm joking.
They never have good winners. They never pick good.
It's okay.
I love 5x5. I shouldn't say that.
I do. I love them too. I'm just playing, but I might go back.
Go back. So you're winning pitch competitions, but that doesn't really make the business, right? Because people can come and be great pitchers and win some money, but probably not enough money to make a living for the next, 30 years or whatever. So what else were you doing that was
good question? So it's seed money. So I won those competitions in 2015, 16. I was starting the business, and I was, I'll give you a quick story to lead up into my new business. But I won that money, and I was like, okay, now I need more money to kind of really make this dream come true. Because anybody knows when you're doing any type of restaurant business, bakery, whatever, you have to spend a lot of money on building out a kitchen if there's not already a kitchen in the building. And so I had to find some funding. So I went through the Small Business Development Center and worked with Lori, and she was very helpful. I got my business plan together, all of that, did a lot of great research. And then I went to the bank. I went to Case Credit Union. They're great to work with. And I went through the process and was able to secure an SBA loan for $150,000. I was approved. The money was there waiting for me. I was looking for a place. And unfortunately, my mom passed unexpectedly. She had cancer, but it was in remission. And then all of a sudden she passed away unexpectedly. It happened the day after my 40th birthday. It was very tragic. And my sister, who has Down syndrome, came to live with us. And so she's 39. And it was a lot of change. And I also had those two little kids I was telling you about. So mom took over from the entrepreneur. The mom part of mompreneur took over. So I had to focus more on the home front. And so all that to say that, yeah, you do have to go out there and get your small business loans. But that's kind of how that came about. And so as I was kind of getting my mind back right, because when you go through a tragedy like that, I think it's important for people. I know this isn't necessarily what you probably wanted to hear, but I think it's important for people to focus on mental health. And so for me, I was wanting to push on, because I'm an entrepreneur. I'm all about, I got to stay on my game. I'm one of those people. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. If I have a goal, I want to achieve it. And it's almost sometimes at all costs. But I really had to put my mental health as a priority, and my family. Because my sister came to live with us. I had to get services for her. I had to get guardianship of her. It was a lot going on. In addition to caring for two young kids and caring for myself, because I had lost my mom, who I was very, very close to. And that took a mental toll. So I went to therapy. I got myself together. Then the pandemic hit. I was like, okay, God, maybe it's not time for me to open this storefront. But it is. It's just all about timing. That's the thing. As an entrepreneur, you cannot get discouraged. It's all about timing. Hang in there. Be consistent. So even though I was focusing on my mental health, I was still baking. I was still in grocery stores with my products. Those things were still happening, but it wasn't happening at the pace that I wanted it to happen. Because when I won all those competitions, I just knew that it was about to be on and popping, right? And so I had to change my perspective and say, I'm still successful. I'm still moving forward. I still have a business, and it's still making money. It may not make as much as I want it to make right now, but it's still making money. So I think we have to put things into perspective sometimes. Anyway, fast forward the pandemic, I decided to pivot, the business part. And I opened Sweet Encounter Kids Culinary Academy. So I offer subscription box cooking club for kids. They get 3 fun theme-based recipes in the mail. This month is zucchini. So all the recipes incorporate zucchini. They get a utensil of the month. I'm going to show you. See that cool little utensil? And this is one of those spiralizers where, you take the zucchini and it turns into noodles. So they get a utensil of the month, and then fun STEM-based activities. That gets shipped here.
Can I have one of those?
You know what? I'm gonna give you one. Seriously, because this is the bomb.com. Okay. If you don't have one, people come get one of these. You can get a box, but I still have some left, just a few left, but I still have like 2 boxes left. Anyway, and yes, get one. So I started that, and I also do kids cooking classes. And that's what I kind of alluded to a little bit earlier, that I wanted to start moving into corporate classes, because I think that it's a great team building activity for corporate teams. And with my background in corporate America, blending the two together, so that again, it's just another way of building income for your business. When you think about your business, don't just rely on one source of income. Really think about how you can capitalize on other income to drive your business and to grow your business. So when you talk about money, yes, I won those competitions, but I needed more in order to be able to be successful.
Yeah. Revenue is always the best source of money, right?
It is.
I mean, sales,
it's better than loans. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Let's talk about, so you won the Built to Last. I think you implied that earlier. But do you want to tell us where that's at and a little bit more about that?
Yes.
Program or competition?
Yes. So listen, so I'm a woman of faith. So, and I feel like that it was a God thing, because the Lansing Built to Last was created by Michelle Massey. She kind of had this like aha moment. Hey, let's do something to support a new business during the pandemic. And so her idea was either it had to be a brand new idea or a business that was less than 2 years old. So if you look at the timeline, Sweet Encounter started in 2015, Sweet Encounter Bakery. That wouldn't have qualified. But because of everything that happened, I didn't start the storefront, all of that. Like I said, God's timing. Listen, people, it's all about timing. Do not get discouraged. Continue to push in your business, because just when you think you're about to give up, that's when your breakthrough is about to happen. Okay. When you're about to quit, that's when you know you got to push harder, because guess what? There's something for you on the other side of that hard. But anyway, back to the story. So she had this grand idea. Sweet Encounter Kids, I had just launched in December, was the perfect idea for this competition because it was only a couple months old. So I went on ahead, I applied. There was 50 some businesses that applied to. There were several different, kind of weeding out processes you had to do, write your business plan, your financials, so on and so forth. And then at the end, of course, you had to do a pitch. And everybody loved my pitch. All the sponsors that I ended up meeting with after the fact was like, we loved your pitch. I was like, hey. And plus they loved my business plan, because they thought my business plan was very thorough. So it's great to be able to talk well, but you also have to back it up with your business plan. So make sure you got a good business plan. Anyway, so basically that's what the Lansing Built to Last is. It allows me to be able to have rent-free storefront for 1 year in downtown Lansing. So I'm going to be at the Hallmark store, which is right next to the Domino's on Washington Square. That's provided by the Ide family. And then there's several other goodies like free legal services, help with my marketing and branding, a membership to the chamber, to the Visitors Bureau, all these different goodies to kind of help your business get started. Because the idea is to really help this budding business to grow and prosper and be built to last, and not just say, oh, here's a little bit of change, now go make it happen, but really trying to give you as much resources as possible. They're not going to give you everything. You still have to work as an entrepreneur, but to give you as many resources as possible to kind of help you to grow and shine and become built to last.
So included in that is the build out of the kitchen, or you had to go back to your loan?
I got to go back to my loan. So there's a couple of things I want to tell entrepreneurs. One, yes, you can get an SBA loan, which I am looking into that. This time I'm going with MSU FCU. They were a sponsor with the competition. So, I got to support the sponsors. And plus I like MSU FCU. My husband works at MSU. Our mortgage is with MSU FCU. So there I got our money every month. But I like them. So we're gonna work with them for the SBA loan. But I'm also looking at other opportunities. If people have never heard of community capital raise, look into that. Community capital raise. There's different types of programs that you can do. Basically, as opposed to like a traditional crowdfunding where you say, "Hey, I need $50,000. Can everybody give me $5?" It's like, "Hey, invest in my business." You invest $50, you can make $75. So basically, every time your business makes money, it's a revenue share model where they share in the revenue. Now, the benefits of that is that, one, you got people investing in your business. Two, now these people are also your champions, because when you make money, they make money. Okay. So not only, hopefully, are they going to support your business, they're going to tell all their friends to what? Support your business. So hopefully, and give you all kind of leads, whatever it is that your business does. If you get the right people that are investing, hopefully they will be advocates and supporters to help grow your business.
So since you went into your consulting arm of Sweet Encounter, telling us a little bit of information there, did you use a service or anything that, like, is there a website you can go and start to set that up? Is it like Patreon that I think MEDC helps manage? How do you
what? They
manage
do
this?
have that too. And you know what? But so this is a little bit different. There's a company right now that I'm working with that I probably am going to actually use for when I do my campaign. It's called Mainvest. So Main, MAINVEST, almost kind of like May Investment or Invest, May Invest, but Mainvest is how it's pronounced. Mainvest. And you see the invest in the main, right? Anyway, so it's mainvest.com, but they have, been very successful in helping businesses. They've been around, I think, for about 6 years or so. This is a newer concept. So it's kind of similar to having a publicly held company, but your company's still privately held. You own it all. They're investors, but you own it all. Now, as an investment, there is a risk. With me, there's no risk because I'm going to be successful. But somebody might not be successful, right? And their business collapse. So you lose your $50 investment. Actually, I think the lowest investment is $100, but you lose your $100. But there's people that, invest more than that. There's people that are looking to invest in their community. And I think that's another important thing. I know I probably got off of whatever you wanted to do, but I feel like this is important because somebody needs to hear this today, Jerry. Somebody needs to hear this. But we need to invest in our own community. And so some people are like, why invest in, Wall Street, so to speak, all these big companies when I can invest in Main Street in my own hometown and grow businesses and help people that I know, help people that look like me, that came from the same streets that I came from, something more tangible. So this is a way to be able to do that.
I love it. Thank you for the advice. I'm going to look into that more, the Mainvest, for sure, and share that a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's go back to, there's one thing I want to clarify. Do you have 2 locations now, or is everything going to be at the Hallmark location?
Everything's going to be at the Hallmark location. So I never did open that storefront because, like I said, with my mom passing, bringing my sister in. So I never opened the storefront. So I never withdrew any of those funds. Basically, they kind of canceled the loan, so to speak. So it was there, it was active, and then they canceled the loan. So I never drew on any of the money because it was right at that point where I was looking for a place and everything kind of happened. So anyway, but yeah, so now I actually have to reapply to be able to get a loan, but everything's going to be in that one place. The way it's going to work is that when you walk into Sweet Encounter, so it's going to be Sweet Encounter Bakery, Cafe, Classes. So you'll walk in, we'll have the bakery counter there. You can get some you get a cafe, get some latte, get a, espresso, whatever you want. You can get a cookie, a cupcake, a lemon bar. Those are good. Anything like that. You can get a quiche if you want to slice a quiche, something like that. Come sit at the table, enjoy yourself, have a good time. Also, if you want, towards the back, you can enjoy one of our classes. We'll have kids cooking classes, and those will be scheduled and set up. And so we'll have an actual cooking kitchen. The cooking kitchen will also be where we'll do our bakery items. And if anybody knows anything about bakeries, most times you're working through the night and early morning. So by the time we open, all of our cases will be filled with everything that you're looking for and filled with all the orders that we have for the day. So wedding cakes, birthday cakes, people call and order all types of things from us all the time for their corporate events, things like that. So all of that will be done early morning through the night. That will give us the opportunity to use the kitchen for our classes. So that's how I work. We'll do birthday parties too. Actually, just recently, even though I'm not in my physical space, I operate out of Allen Neighborhood Center. So there was a little girl who celebrated her 10th birthday with a cooking class with me. And it was super fun. She had 10 friends and she turned 10. and they were all headed to 5th grade, which is near and dear to my heart because I have a 5th grader too. And we did 2.5 hours. They chose the menu. We made mango sushi. We made taco hand pies, and we made churros with a chocolate sauce. So those were the things they wanted to make. And so it was super fun. So we do private classes too. And when we get into the storefront, we'll do tons of private classes. We'll even do, if you want to do a bachelorette party or a bachelor party, you know, or just anything you want to celebrate. We'll have that available where people can book it. So.
It's funny. I'm going to give a shout out to somebody, but when you said bacon through the night, I remember seeing a post by Mr. Leslie's Cheesecake this morning. Oh, I've been here all night. And
yes,
exactly.
I love Marcus. I saw that post too because I follow him and he follows me. So we've turned into good buds. We talk all the time now, especially both of us are at the Afterglow Market, and we're both at Allen Neighborhood Center. So, and we're both all about supporting other people. You know, like he does sweets, I do sweets, but sometimes you might want a cheesecake, sometimes you might want a cupcake. So it's enough love to go around.
Let's shout out one more in the kitchen then. Steve Manning just delivered to Meyer for the first time today. So have you met Steve before?
I don't think so. The name sounds familiar.
Are you in the accelerator kitchen? Because he's in the incubator kitchen. So he's just using when he has to. It used to be called Koala Pantry. He rebranded, and I'm going to kick myself for not remembering what his new name is. But
what's his products? What is he?
It's like almost like a slushy, a fruit drink, but for kids. And got into it. His origin story is about no Black-owned baby food companies in America. And he wanted to be the first of that. So he's got a baby food line that he's doing a little bit with, but that'll grow later.
That's awesome. Well, good. I like the shout out. Good.
Bunch of rock stars in the ANC.
Oh yeah.
What are we forgetting to talk about? Like we haven't put a website up. We haven't put should we put a website up? Let's put a website.
So my website is sweetencounterkids.com. That's for the kids one. So you can sign up today for classes. And actually, if anybody hears this, because, you know, you always got to do a promo. That's the thing about, you know, when you're doing your business, whenever you come on to something, promote your business, give a special to those who are watching. So if anybody's watching right now, you can sign up, do class 21. That's the code, and you'll get $10 off a class. So if you go to sweetencounterkids.com, click on classes. We have 5 classes happening in September, throughout the month of September. So if you sign up, and I'm going to say, what's today? Wednesday. Sign up by Friday and use the code class21. Then you'll get $10 off your cooking class.
This seems like I love the concept of a birthday party. Because skill development, we want to be doing all the time, right? But you have these birthday parties that maybe are like just splashing around in the yard or whatever. Nobody's really learning anything. They might be playing and doing all of that, but you can play when you cook. You can, I mean, one of my favorite.
We have fun in the kitchen. So the kids, it's so funny because I've had two siblings have come to two classes. And so they remember from the first class that I always have like a dance break. And I let the kids, I do at least 2 or 3 throughout the class. Cause you know, they got to get the wiggles out, you know, they're kids, and it's a 2.5 hour class and we're making 3 different things. So, you know, whatever. And so I let them choose a song and we just dance it out. We have a little fun in the kitchen. We dance it out. So, you know, they look forward to that. So one of the kids said, when she came to the next class, said, so, Miss Nikki, are we going to be able to dance it out today? I said, girl, yes, we're going to dance it out. So she was ready for her song. She had her song ready to go. So she was super excited. I played her song and we had fun. So we do. The great thing about these classes is that you have fun, but they also learn something. If you come to my class, you're going to learn some math. So I'll give them the recipe, but I'll give them the recipe that will work for a family of 4 to 6, right? But we always have the recipes in class because otherwise we'll have way too much food. So I partner the kids together. Then they have to think through themselves, half the recipe, that's fractions. So sometimes it's like, this is 1 cup. Okay, what's half of 1 cup? No, okay, Miss Nikki, now is this right? Is it this one right here? Is this half of what? I said, okay, well, let's talk it out. So I really am also trying to teach them that there really is a connection between math and science and culinary arts, and you really can make it fun, and they can really learn, because then fractions become something that's tangible, and it's not this abstract information that's hard for kids to grasp.
So 2 questions related to that, but I'm going to work backwards a little bit. Mm-hmm. One is, I noticed earlier when you said that you give them some STEM exercise or STEM, is that what you said? Exercise?
Yeah, STEM activities, yep, in my culinary boxes. Mm-hmm.
And I was surprised that you didn't say STEAM, because you put the art into the STEM, like science, technology, engineering, art, and math. Because you got the decoration, you got lots of stuff, right? It's culinary arts.
Actually, I want to change that. Listen. You were all up in my business. No, I'm just joking.
Sorry.
No. I'm messing with you, Jerry. Seriously, but honestly, that is something I want to change, because I've been talking with just like I have a small team. It's just 3 of us about that, because I do want to incorporate the A. And so far, everything I have been saying has been STEM. And then I'm like, okay, so when do I actually change the phrasing and change everything that I have on my social media and stuff and on my advertising to say STEAM and not STEM? Because I believe in the arts, culinary arts. I believe in the arts, right? So you're on to something. And so maybe I just do it. Sometimes as entrepreneurs, I think we overthink things. So that might be a thing when I'm overthinking it, and just do it. I think so.
Because the arts needs to get the proper respect in everything. You can't escape art.
That's true. You can't. And so we've had kids like one of my boxes. I think it was our June box. It was backyard barbecue, and so the kids got to make ice cream. And then I had a competition where I said, I want you to create your own ice cream flavor, so you can add any type of toppings or anything like that you want to add into it. Give it a name, and then post it on Facebook. And then whoever, we'll pick a winner. And then that person gets a private cooking class with me for like 1 hour virtual cooking class, because I've shipped to over 20 different states. So I have subscription boxes going all across the country, not just here in Michigan. So
that's awesome.
So yes, that's an example of the A in STEAM. So yes, I need to go ahead and just add it on in there.
I think so, but what do I know? The other question I had is, you start out Sweet Encounters with allergen free and all of that. Is everything with the kids classes also that same theme? Allergen free?
Yes. So all of my kid classes, I use, gluten-free stuff. And honestly, people don't even know the difference. It's like the kids are having so much fun. They enjoy it. They don't even know the difference. And so I just tell people that, I guess I do tell people that it's gluten-free, but I tried, because sometimes people get this concept like, oh, it's not good. And I would say some gluten-free stuff is not good. I'm going to tell you that right now. Okay. But all my stuff is, because it's been mom tested. Mom tested means my mama. Okay, I grew up with one of them old school Black mamas that didn't want anything changed in her food. Like, don't give me no sugar-free, gluten-free, dairy-free. I want all my fat kind of mama. That's how my mama talked to, just like this. You know what I'm saying? And she was just, it's not her, but it's like that. She'd be like, listen, I don't want none of this, Nikki. I'm like, Mama, but you got to try it. It's good. Don't give me none of that gluten-free stuff. So I convinced her that it tastes good, because, I kept practicing, right, until I got good recipes. And you've had my stuff, and
I'm gonna talk about that in a second for sure.
And when I convinced my mama it was good, then I knew I was on to something, because my mama wasn't having it. Okay, she wasn't having no part of gluten, nothing. Okay, she wanted all her gluten.
So hint number 3, the first one was show up with passion. The second one was have a business plan backing you. And the third one is, if you're making sweets, bring samples. Because I was involved at least 3 or 4 of the pitch competitions that you came to and won. And every single time, I think you brought samples. And it was, I couldn't have told anybody the difference between whatever you were doing and whatever they're doing, you're doing it right.
Yes. And I tell people I've won competitions here locally. So I don't know. They haven't done it in a few years, but the Pink Wars, that was a big dessert wars. It was called Pink Wars. And it was done during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And you would have to make some type of dessert, honoring breast cancer awareness. And I won People's Choice for that. I did the Girl Scout Bake Off 2 years in a row. The first year, my dessert won first place. It also was auctioned for the highest amount because they would also take your dessert and they would auction it off. You had samples you would give everybody, and then you had like a main dessert that they would auction off and sell. Mine sold for the highest amount that year, and I got first place Judge's Choice. The second year, I got third place Judge's Choice, and mine probably went, I think, for the second highest amount for auctioning out. So, and I competed against some of these bakeries in Lansing that are good. I ain't gonna tell no lie, but they are full of gluten, right? And nothing wrong with gluten, honey, because I eat gluten when I'm not with my kids. But the thing is that I was competing with those great bakeries, and I was winning against those great bakeries. So I think that says something about my products.
For sure. When you look at all this and put it all together, what's your mission?
My mission really is to bring smiles to people's faces. That's as simple as it is, to bring smiles to people's faces. So like when people come in to Sweet Encounter, I want them to have a sweet experience. So the sweet is not just about having something that is sugary. The sweet is really having one of those moments, one of those experiences that gives you that good feeling where you want to do it again, where you want to come back. So I want people to encounter, right, my business and want to come back again and again and again, whether it's coming back for something sweet or coming back for a class or buying another subscription box because you had such a great experience in making those recipes with your family, whatever that is. But I really want to be able to put a smile on people's face and create those sweet encounters.
Awesome. What do you do every damn day to push that needle forward?
First of all, consistency. I have to be consistent. So every day I'm thinking, what can I do to, like you said, drive my business forward? What strategy can I put in place? And I think the thing is consistency, because some days it's like, oh, I don't really feel like it, but whatever it is that you're doing and you're doing well, be consistent about it. So for me, every damn day I'm getting up and I'm thinking, what is working? What's not working, and what can I do to make things even better? That's what I ask myself. What's working? Figure out what's working and keep doing it. Consistency. What's not working? Stop. Let's move on, find another solution. And then thirdly, what is something new you can do, right, to even drive the ball further? So those are my things. It's like, what am I doing well? What am I not doing well? What new thing or what additional thing can I do to push things forward? To be consistent in doing those things every day.
I think from a business perspective, might even be from a life perspective, the best advice we've had about what to do every damn day. Very good. Very good.
That's why I'm the GOAT. No,
you are the GOAT. I said you were the GOAT, right? So now you can say you're the GOAT.
You did. You gave credit to Tony. He created it. Thank you, Tony.
So we daisy chain these shows together. And yesterday on the show, I had Charla from OT Consulting. And the question that she wanted me to pass to you is, what's your go-to breakfast meal?
So when I'm on the go, because that happens a lot, I have yogurt. I eat like Greek yogurt, and I usually have some granola because I love granola, and some fresh fruit. That's usually what I eat. That's quick and dirty. Now, when I got time to make myself something, because I'm a little soulful, and it ain't always healthy, but I'm telling you what I like to make. My mom used to make these delicious fried potatoes. Like people call them breakfast potatoes, but we call them fried potatoes. We fried potatoes with onions and green peppers and seasoning salt, and it was good. And so I would make that, some bacon, because yes, I eat pork, and some bacon and some eggs, and some homemade biscuits. Listen, baby, that's a good breakfast for me. It reminds me of my childhood.
That would be very close to mine, but I would take the pork out.
Oh, okay.
Very close.
Well, I still love you though. If you came to my house, I'd feed you some turkey.
All right.
Turkey
Always
bacon's good too.
always an alternative with you, right?
Yes, or some veggie bacon too. Hey, whatever you need, baby, I got you.
I'll take the potatoes. That's what I like. Um, Tomorrow on the show, I've got Sydney. She's has her debut novel coming out. It's called State of Grace. What question would you like me to ask Sydney on your behalf?
Yes, ask her what is your favorite kitchen memory. I think we all have a great kitchen memory. Maybe it's something you made with your mom or dad or your aunt or uncle or grandmother. I know I have a lot with my grandmother. What's a favorite, or even with your kids if you have kids now, or your spouse? Because sometimes I get in the kitchen and cook with my baby now. So, what's your favorite kitchen memory?
Yeah, and I'm going to turn that on you. What's your favorite kitchen memory?
Oh, gosh, I feel like I have a lot. One of my favorite kitchen memories is with my oldest kid. And I was cutting zucchini. It's so funny because my box this month is called zucchini. And it came up because August is a great time to make zucchini because it's a lot in the garden. But she was helping me make zucchini bread, and we were cutting up this zucchini. And she had a butter knife. She was 3 years old, and she's cutting the zucchini. And then she cut it in half with the butter knife. It was so cute. And then she's like, Mommy, and it broke into 3 pieces. Mommy, I have 3 halves. And it was just so adorable. So that's one of my favorite kitchen memories as a mom. As a kid, again, my kitchen memory is just sitting on the kitchen floor, banging on those pots and pans while I watch my mom cook.
I can smell my memory.
Oh, what is it? Tell me.
Well, I'm gonna put it on TikTok later.
Oh, okay, all right.
No, but I won't do that to you. It was actually sitting in my grandparents' house on the south side in Somerset, if you guys know that road, and my grandmother would be making soup. My favorite soup, but it was really my grandfather who was making it, but he would cut everything up and chop everything up, and it basically be whatever he picked out of the garden that day.
Oh, yeah.
But then he was always doing something like sauerkraut or wine or something like that. So they were both doing 2 different things, and that soup overwhelms me with the smell of it. I can smell it right now. But then the sauerkraut or the wine would also do that too. So
yeah, that's the beauty of food.
But that's my childhood one. My adult one is my wife and my daughter who passed, cooking together and having a little flour fight. And the photos and the memories of that are very precious to us. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's sweet. That's awesome.
But I think it's a great question because almost everybody's going to have an answer to that, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I
hope so. I hope people have sweet memories in the kitchen because I really feel like the kitchen is the core of many households, right? It's the place where we play games, we have food, we have family conversations. Lots of great things usually happen in the kitchen.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking, did I just offend my mom? I got to think. I'm going to do it better on TikTok.
Now you got to think of one for your mom too. But hey, if your mom's probably honored because you just honored her mom. So there you go.
Well, we used to make homemade noodles, so now I remember that, like egg noodles for
yeah.
That or chicken and dumplings was good. Yeah. Dang, now I got too many memories.
Now you guys, because that's the beauty of the kitchen. That's why I love the kitchen because I think parents, honestly, there's so many ways to make sweet memories. That's why I came up with the Sweet Encounter Kids Culinary Academy subscription boxes because you have these boxes and sometimes like, oh my gosh, I don't have time to cook with my kids. But it's an investment. I tell parents, once you teach them, they start making things. I had one mom who told me her kid came to a class and now she wants to make a meal for the family. So
nice.
Even if they can't make a full meal, if they can help you prep, think about what relief that is for you because that's less for you to do. They're contributing to the family. At any age, they can contribute to the family.
Can you imagine if by doing that with your kids or what you're doing, you save every single or young mother or whatever an hour in the kitchen every week? That's a whole week of free time given back. Or to play cards or to do something
other things.
So
and you're supporting your kid.
Can we extend the kitchen into the backyard too? Because we got the grills, we got the dads with the barbecues. And
absolutely. My kids barbecue with dad all the time. Absolutely.
You know who I think's the best cook in my house? My family, my immediate family is my 20-year-old son.
Oh.
He can cook anything. He's and I think I'm a very good cook. My wife is a very good cook, but my son, I don't know, it just came out. Just knew how to do it instinctively.
That's good. And he probably lays it down so that you guys don't have to. See, that's a blessing. There you go.
He prefers that, so we don't touch his stuff. Thank you for. I hope that a lot of people answer that question and think that through, because you're exactly right. There are childhood memories. There are every kind of memories, relationship memories, childhood, parenthood, all types of hood memories about the kitchen.
Girlfriends. I have, listen, when I was in college, I have memories of where we had the hot plate, okay? And we were making food down in the basement. I mean, so, you might have those memories with your girlfriend at college or, whatever. But yeah, I can think of so many different people in my life that I have fond memories of cooking something or doing something in the kitchen with them.
Everything revolves around food because it's the number one thing that every single one of us does.
Yep.
So, happiness, sadness, joy, love, or hope. Which word or words would you like to talk about?
I would say joy, hope, and sadness. Joy, I say, because I feel like happiness is one thing, but it's another thing when you have joy. I feel like happiness is contingent upon what my day's like, this, that, and the other. But joy is that even if there's something bad or sad that happens, you can still have joy in the midst of that. So I think joy is something that's so internal and so intrinsic. It's hard to even put into words in my thoughts. I say sadness because there's always going to be a little bit of sour with the sweet. There always is. I mean, even when you make a cake, you got flour that's kind of bitter. You have vanilla extract that really does not taste all that great by itself, right? And you have salt, so you have all these different elements, right? And so that's about life. So I think we have to be able to embrace sadness. We have to be able to embrace grief. We have to be able to talk about grief more. I'm since my mom died, I'm really, and I know you're with your daughter, I think it's so important for us to be transparent about our sadness and our grief, that it's okay because we're human and it's normal. And then hope, because where would we be without hope? You got to hope, especially as an entrepreneur, you got to hope that your business is going to be successful. You got to hope, but you can't just hope now. You got to do some work now, because faith without works is dead, but you got to have hope. If you don't have hope, you're not going to go anywhere. You got to have hope.
It's not hope and dreams, it's ways and means, right?
There you go.
I love that combination. I'm trying to think if anybody's ever picked those three before. And before I forget, I thought about your mother a lot as you've been talking about, what drives you and what was important to you. And I know the origin story with your children and the allergens and that. And I didn't know that much about about your mother passing in the last few years. So I'm sorry about that. But again, you turned it into a passion. You turned it into more hope. You turned it into more joy. And I'd love that you use the taste, the flavor, to say, all right, this salt next to this sugar creates something special here. And if you take one of them away, it doesn't work. And so you do need that sadness. And
you do.
What a great explanation of kind of that whole palette, I guess.
Yeah. Because you learn from it. I learned a lot from my mom's passing. It was hard. A lot about myself, a lot about humanity. When I was, I'm a spiritual person. I go to church, but I'm also a very open liberal person too. So I'm spiritual, not religious. But anyway, I grew up in the church. But I remember when I went, I literally would cry every service. I mean, in tears after my mom died, probably for months, and it made people uncomfortable. I could tell it made people uncomfortable by some of the things they said and the way they acted. But I didn't care, because I said church is supposed to be for the people who are sick. Right? And not even just church, but anything. I feel like people shy away from people's sadness and it makes people feel uncomfortable. But I think we have to be uncomfortable with what is uncomfortable, because that's where the growth happens with anything, whether it's sadness, grief, whatever. We have to be uncomfortable with the uncomfortable, because that's where the growth happens.
That's right. I've been saying that about vulnerability too.
Yeah.
Like your new strength doesn't come from your old strength. Your new strength comes from your weaknesses, your vulnerability. And with weight, it's really hard to see if you're vulnerable or strong. You'll get strong, but it's because you were vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. And I think it becomes a testament to other people. It lets other people know that it's okay to be sad. It's okay to grieve. But just like a phoenix, baby, you rise from them ashes. Don't stay there. You know what I'm saying? Because I crashed and burned. I tell people that all the time. I did. I was very sad. A lot had happened. I crashed and burned. But that wasn't the end of the story. And I think that's what people have to realize. That sadness, that low point, if you lose your business, if your business fails, whatever, that's not the end of the story. That does not define you. You have to rise again.
See, I got this. Can I see it? I don't think we can see it. I got a phoenix on my thumb for that very reason.
Yeah.
To rise out.
Yeah.
I think you're amazing. You're the GOAT. Everyone thinks you're amazing. I can't wait till this opens up. I just am going through so many permutations of all the healthy things. And I don't mean what you're eating. I mean the activities that you're doing that are evolved around this process. You know, project-based everything is a very important value to us. You teaching STEAM, you teaching, you know, even respect for each other and sharing and taking turns and learning a skill. No wonder you won. It was a good idea. It wasn't just your smile.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you so very much. It's an honor to have you, Nikki. You know, I've known you for 5-6 years now, 6-7 years maybe.
Yeah.
And you are the GOAT. I think I'm gonna swear they're listening, but you're a badass and everyone knows it. And keep rolling. All
right. And so are you. And you are inspiration. You really are. So I've been watching you. I've been seeing the things you do. I remember when I first met you. And so.
I probably had some suit on and stuff. People
you
don't
did.
even know
You
I
did.
used to do
you
that.
You was looking at me a little suspect, which I appreciate, kind of checking me out like, is she really as good as she thinks she, which is good, right? You gave me a little bit of challenge, a little bit of pushback. I appreciate that, though. I think it's important to give people healthy pushback.
I think one of the promises I try to keep to all you entrepreneurs is to be just objective as possible. And this doesn't mean I don't believe you. It means let's prove it. Let's make sure. Because being delusional is the worst thing an entrepreneur can be.
That is true. I'd rather people tell me, than to talk about me behind my back, or you're like, oh yeah, that's so great. And then they're like, girl, that was terrible. No, tell me. I like to talk about the elephant in the room. Hey, the elephant is not going anywhere. Let's talk about it, right? Let's deal with the situation. So I have a smile on my face, but people who really know me, my one friend said, you are so, what'd she say? You can tell people off with a smile. I don't tell people off really, but she said, you tell people off with a smile. Cause it's like, when I'm working, I can get, but I do it in a pleasant way because I don't want to ever hurt anybody or be malice or malicious. But at the same time, I feel it's important for us to be honest and find ways to help support and grow each other.
I think since you're a mompreneur, that you don't have to tell us off. We get it, and we'll just say, yes, ma'am. So, what would you like to take us out with?
Okay, what I like to say is don't give up before your breakthrough. Okay, don't give up before that breakthrough. I mentioned that earlier, but that's what I'm going to end with. Don't give up before your breakthrough, because when you give up, that's when your breakthrough is just about to occur. You got to push harder, push harder.
Solid advice throughout the show, by the way. Very good, Nikki. Thank you so very much. And everyone, tomorrow at 2, let's learn about Sydney together and their new novel. It's called a novel. State of Grace. I've really been looking at that word grace for a long time, and can't wait to hear about this. Thank you again, Nikki. Much love and good luck in everything that you ever do.
Yes,
I was
Much
going
love
to say
to
it.
everybody else.
And I know you're passing the baton to your kids too, as they watch you do your thing and all of that. So thanks for being so wonderful for our community.
Thank you for being wonderful. Have a great day, everybody.